Low test scores, reliance on devices, AI, short attention spans. What research tells us for helping children in today's digital age. This is Smart Parents, Smart Kids. As the coat rack said to the guest jacket, get yourself hooked right here. We're back, Smart Parents, Smart Kids. Last time I talked about research that confirms executive function is key in early math skills being the best predictor of later achievement. And that includes predicting reading achievement too. So this week I want to dive a bit deeper into what they call EF. You remember, executive function. The integration of working memory, the ability to retain and manipulate distinct pieces of information over short periods of time. Response inhibition, resisting responses or impulsive actions to not be distracted, and cognitive flexibility, the ability to shift attention in response to different demands or situations. These three elements help your child to perform increasingly complex tasks, and that's what you want. You want your child to be able to focus, shift between problem-solving strategies, ditch what's incorrect, and hold in their memory information that's pertinent. It's all a part of effective child rearing, school readiness, and building a foundation for success. While many schools spend less focus than they used to on academics, your child can benefit from your knowing about neuroscience and its importance in education. You know what? Fact. All learning is neuroscience. Think about it. What is learning? Learning is creating new neural connections in the brain or strengthening existing ones. That's neuroscience. Let's talk about the connection between executive function and mathematical processing. Math and executive function both occur in the same part of the brain, the frontal lobe, particularly the prefrontal cortex, which is right here. It's the brain's command center for higher order cognitive processes. The connection with math makes perfect sense when you think about it. When you're doing a math problem, you have to hold intermediate information in your working memory. You have to avoid distractions, and you may have to switch between different problem-solving strategies. That's the crux of the direct connection between math and executive function, and why it helps boost academic achievement in other subjects as well. Yeah, reading. What about it? You saying, Singer, that reading doesn't involve executive function? No, I haven't said that. And absolutely, reading does require executive function skills, but not at the high level that math does. Math spurs a more intensive and greater integration of the three core executive function components. In education, the early emphasis has long been on reading, despite the facts about executive function and math's predictive power. So parents, if you want your child to engage in more experiences that will boost their executive function performance, it's up to you to direct that yourself. And it's smart to do it early. When your child's 2 or 3, engage in exercises like those I mentioned in episode 1. Of course, don't neglect literacy. It is extremely important. But for developing your son or daughter's focus, concentration, and being cognitively nimble, math is number one. You want an example of a key difference between reading and math? When you read, repeated exposure to words leads to automatic recognition of those words. For instance, recognizing a familiar word like hat for a child, adults too, that requires less effort over time. What happens when you see a word you know from having seen it so many times before is your brain retrieves it as previously acquired factual information. There isn't the active cognitive manipulation that math requires. Retrieving factual information reduces the demand on executive function. And boom, right there, you have an example of why early childhood math is more powerful than reading. You know what's really terrific? American Advantage Math. It's for parents of 4 to 6-year-old children to help build their skills and brain power, evidence-based and tested.
So if people are calling or people call and say, does this work? Does this program work? I would say, yes, it works tremendously. We have proof with our kids.
Yes, you can have fun with your kids while you boost their math skills and cognitive development. And you know what's terrific? Beginning February 2nd, I'm going to begin releasing components of the program to members of Smart Parents, Smart Kids. Members enjoy extra content, get to engage directly with me, and get the math program components. And you know what? I've got more in the works. I also wrote a book that's the foundation of a literacy program for 4 to 7-year-old children to learn up to 1,100 words. I want to turn that into a deliverable as well at a discount for members. Become an SPSK member by clicking on the Ko-fi link in the video description below. At $8.75 a month, SPSK membership is a really good deal. Hey, that's less than half the price of a large restaurant pizza. So I hope you'll become a valued member. And honestly, I need members in order to keep doing this. Money. Now, what to do to benefit your young children? Everybody loves money, right? Even little kids. And it's worthwhile to do money counting and calculation exercises starting at preschool age. I'm talking about using dimes, nickels, and pennies. I recommend you keep some around to use for math with your kids. Money is great for learning to calculate and count up, which helps them later to figure change in their head. I know high school graduates who can't do that. The fact is, math with money is a base 10 exercise, boosts knowledge of how numbers work, and is also excellent for executive function. Tell me, what do you think is more advantageous, using a calculator or using your brain? Here's a sample exercise to do with your child. Let's say, all right, I give you $5. You go down to the store and you want to buy a toy that costs $3. You also want to buy a soda that costs $2 and a pack of gum that costs 50 cents. Do you have enough money? If you don't, how much are you short? This is an excellent exercise for children when they are ready. And of course, no calculators, no digital devices. Just old-fashioned math using executive function and math skills. And as an added extra, financial literacy is included in the exercise too. Here's another one. Give your child a series of numbers written on paper, or if you prefer, sets of Cheerios. The values could be perhaps 2, 3, 5, 7, and 1. Ask your child which numbers or groups of Cheerios together make 10. This is another very good exercise. And one more. Writing the numbers down or using a number of physical objects, make a sequence such as 1, 3, 5, 7. Tell your child to notice the sequence, notice the pattern. Then ask what's next in the sequence. Again, Cheerios can be a help. This exercise develops your child's executive function because it requires analysis and predicting future elements. This is a form of planning. You can also change it up and play what number is missing. Do a sequence like 1, 3, 5, and 9. Ask your child to study the sequence and ask them to say or write which number is missing. For older children, multi-step word problems are terrific. Now, what does multi-step mean? It means requiring multiple operations to solve the problem. For example, hey, kid, if I give you 10 cookies, you eat half of them, and I give you 10 more, then how many do you have? That's a multi-step problem you can do with your child. You can also ask them to explain the steps they use to solve the problem. Remember, always try to make math time fun for both you and your child. I'll leave you with this. In 2009, the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine said, quote, "Children need rich mathematical interactions and guidance both at home and school to be well prepared for the challenges they will meet in formal schooling." Why? Now you know. Next week, I'll be talking about the power of the pencil. I'll also be talking about digital devices and control. Yeah, Singer, what do you mean by control? There's hand control, remote control, muscle control, parental control, federal control. There's all kinds of control. The one we'll be talking about is motor control. Why? Because of this. Lead engages your head. You know, I never heard anyone else say that before. So be sure to watch. Next week, we're going to do the number 2 and the neural networks inside you. This is important. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and go to the link in the description below to become a member of our Smart Parents, Smart Kids community. Ko-fi.com/watch-SPSK. This effort here really does need your support. Let's grow this community that cares about children's healthy cognitive development and academic success. Together, we can make a real difference. Smart parents, smart kids. And don't miss next week's show, the number 2 and what it means for you.